Okay. Now I can hear myself and not hear myself. All right. So
We're live.
Oh, did you restart it from your end?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's great. Now I have to. Yeah, okay. All right. So where were we? Since we're
Bearsing.
Bearsing. Yes, we were Bearsing. All right. So, Chris, you dropped a lot of brilliance about Nick Foles and his people to pick up. Why don't you give us all that one more time for the people at home?
For the people at home. I was saying that Lamar Miller makes sense as a good pickup this week. I would even pick him up potentially this week because they might activate him just that quickly. He's going to probably fill in that Tariq Cohen role. The Lamar Miller really was great when he was with Miami. He did great numbers those first couple of years with the Texans. Destroyed before the start of last season, as everybody remembers, when Luck decided to opt out and there were that slew of injuries before the season even started. Lamar Miller, I think, still holds real fantasy value, especially in this Bears offense, because this offense with somebody other than Mitch is going to be all about getting it to the open guy. And I think that's where you're going to see Allen Robinson take a real hit, is because when Mitch got into trouble, he was always looking for Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson was his go-to guy to get him out of trouble. So the fact that Mitch is no longer in there, I think, does hurt Allen Robinson's value. I think that Nick Foles will be looking for the open guy just to be the point guard of that offense. He's not looking for a specific person. So I think everybody benefits. Maybe Allen Robinson takes a hit. Lamar Miller is a good pickup for people if they're looking for a waiver wire running back, which a lot of people are, because running back is something that is changing a lot this year.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, it is.
Like you said, half the league of running backs are half dead, and half of them don't play this week. You're without Derrick Henry, James Conner, possibly Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and James White, depending on what happens. Anything can happen in the next 24 hours with that Chiefs-Patriots game. So,
and the other half are in a time split. So
right,
you got that going for you. Are you excited, Doug?
All right.
Are you excited for Bears having a new man at the helm?
Yeah, I'm excited to see kind of what he can do. Obviously, he's got a track record. He can be a little erratic at times. So, yeah, a little bit. So you do have to kind of temper those expectations. But
the second half, though, if you count the dropped touchdown and the touchdown taken away by the overturn, that's 5 touchdowns and a half for Nick Foles.
Yeah.
So
the thing that kind of solidified me on Foles was somebody found there was a thing on Twitter where they had the same play. The same play was called, same formation, same players on the field, and one play was obviously Mitch, one play was obviously Nick, and Trubisky's was an incompletion, and Foles's was the touchdown to Miller. And it was the exact same play call, and you could see kind of the difference between the two. And that was kind of when I was went, okay, that's the difference, and now we're gonna have to ride with Nick.
Where did Mitch go on that play?
I think he still went to Miller, but I think it was an incompletion. Like that might have been the one that Miller dropped. I can't remember.
I think that I do remember hearing about that play, that Foles kind of gave Miller a landmark in the end zone to run to, and that helped him out a lot. So just having somebody who has that kind of experience probably helps the offense flow better. I think Mitch is kind of an airhead, so he's probably just trying to take in the moment more than he is trying to guide other people. And I think you saw that. I know it's something that's very subjective, but I think he saw that after Foles had like his second or third touchdown there, where he's walking the sideline and talking to everyone. You see him actively telling people what they did wrong, what they did right, and praising the people that did well and telling people what he wants from them next time. I think that's where you see that leadership of somebody who's not just Mitch Trubisky guy waiting to screw this thing up. It's a quarterback who has that veteran presence who can guide the team to be better.
So let's, since we shuffled the shot sheet a little, let's talk a little Packers-Falcons before Doug reads our first ads. I know that Falcons super banged up, all the wide receivers in this game super banged up. Julio, Ridley both questionable, Adams questionable, Lazard out. Do you own any receivers in any of your leagues from this game, Chris?
I'm not an owner of anybody in this game, but I think you should be shocked at the way the Lazard thing was handled. It just came out of nowhere. Like, he was like everybody's like top like target on the waiver wire, like, and then all of a sudden they're just like, yeah, he's done. Yeah, and so I think that was kind of bizarre. I would trust Devontae Adams coming back. I think that's going to be an okay situation, even if he is still a little banged up. He's going to get a majority of the looks there. I think it's going to be an easy matchup for him because this Falcons secondary is terrible, and so it could be a big week again. They could just try to churn it up and just have Aaron Jones have another big week running the football, but I think they're probably going to put the ball in the air a few times to make Rodgers happy. Well, they can make Rodgers happy.
Yeah, I actually happen to be in a league where I own both Adams and Julio, so I kind of hit the waiver wire earlier this week to see who I could pick up from those games that I could start in the flex position. Ultimately, for the Falcons, I already had Brian Hill, so I will probably end up starting him, but I picked up I think his name's Odarius Zaccheaus. And then for the Packers, I picked up Taylor. I don't quite recall his first name, so I'm hoping I don't have to start him. But yeah, I just kind of gave myself a little bit of that safety if they don't play, but who
Brian Hill
really
looked
knows?
good because he had that burst that you're not seeing out of a guy like Gurley, who you worry about his knees.
Yeah.
And they've always kind of gone with the timeshare is just for his benefit, so he does not get beat up. But when Brian Hill got in there, he looked good.
Just before we go to commercial, I want to note we had talked about this when our recording hadn't gone on. They have moved the Chiefs-Patriots game to tomorrow night, 6:05 Central kickoff on CBS. I read that tweet a little closer. They are moving back the Packers-Falcons game to a 7:50 Central Time kickoff instead of the normal 7:20 Monday Night Football game. So that'll be on ESPN.
So play a half, play a half, play a half, play a half. Okay.
Yep. So take us to commercial, Doogie.
Alrighty. So with that said, we will go into our commercials. We will jump in there. And then on the other side of this, we'll talk, we were going to talk about the teams being moved. We can still talk about games being moved and kind of what strategies you can employ and maybe some commission moves if you haven't done that yet. A little late in the game for that, but we can talk a little bit about some options for you in terms of how to kind of manage this weird week for you there. So, Cavanaugh's Hilltop. Sunday is the best day at Cavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill in Rock Island. You can now enjoy a limited brunch menu while listening to your favorite jamokes talk about fantasy football. And let me tell you, there's nothing better than Cavanaugh's Brunch Burger, which is a sizzling all-beef patty topped with an egg and hash browns served with a side of hand-cut fries. Stick around after the show and grab one of their 250 tall boys or a Bloody Mary while checking out all of the action every game around the league and keeping up with your fantasy studs on one of their numerous screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. That's Cavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill, 1228 30th Street in Rock Island, the non-bubble home of For Fantasy's Sake. Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill. Located in the Belgian neighborhood of 7th Street in Moline, Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill is home to some of the Quad City's best food and drink specials. On Sundays, there's no better place to be. Clint's is serving up 75-cent wings and $4 Bloody Marys all day long. And your favorite team playing in those out-of-market games, you'll never miss a section of the action on one of their 10 screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. And once you've had your wing and bloody fix, finish your football watching experience off with one of their famous Quad City style pizzas. Folks, they know pizza. They've been spinning QC-style pies for the last 22 years. So make Clint's part of your Sunday football routine. Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill, 7th Street in Moline. All right, so this is not a common week by any stretch of the imagination. So just for a quick recap, there is no Pittsburgh, Tennessee this week. That has gotten pushed back indefinitely. As of right now, they're going to play in week 7. Am I right?
Yeah.
I believe that's the way that works. They're going to play in week 7. Whoever Pittsburgh was supposed to play in week 7, they're now going to play
Ravens.
in week 8. The Ravens, yes, Baltimore. And DJ just said before we went to break that New England KC will be played at 6 o'clock tomorrow local time. So non-standard all over the place. What are some of the ways that you guys are seeing that people are kind of managing this stuff? I can tell you in one of the leagues that I play in, the commission basically in the Facebook group said, here is, reply to this thread, put in your guys that from that game that you want, and then put in a backup guy in here, and then before the noon kickoff, tell me, who you want, so that way if the game gets moved late, then we can substitute people in and out. So that's one way I've seen handle it. Deej, I know you commissioned a few leagues. What are some of the ways that you've kind of handled?
So in one league that we host on ESPN where you really can't make changes after the draft, what I did is I basically said start a guy from a different game. So I have no backup tight end where I have Kelsey. Stupid management on my part. So I have Richard Rodgers in there as of now, but if the Chiefs and Patriots, as of now it looks like they're going to, if they end up playing, I'll get Kelsey. But I had everybody start a different guy and then designate who they would play from the Patriots-Chiefs game and who they would sub them in for. And I said noon game, get it in. And then in another league where we host on my fantasy league, I just went ahead and just made this week a best ball week, where your optimal lineup after this week, it's gonna hurt some teams, help some teams, but I think with all the craziness that's going on right now, I think that was the best way to manage it. And I haven't gotten any blowback. All I've gotten is positive reactions from that. So I know I try as a commissioner not to overreach my power, but I felt like that was the best thing for the fantasy league this week.
I think best ball makes all the sense in the world this week. Your league isn't about best ball. Just understand it's extraordinary circumstances, and this is something that a lot of leagues aren't set up for. So if it's a one-off, just let it ride. I think everybody should be fine with that, knowing that this isn't going to be the norm, but this is what you need to do to get through a week.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, and there's a tweet this morning. Doug and Nate like to give me crap about it last year, about me getting texts from Shefty. I subscribe to Adam Schefter's tweets just so if something comes through while we're on the show, I can regurgitate it pretty quickly. There was a Chris Mortensen tweet that said, the NFL cautiously noted that the Titans appear to be an outlier, with 420,000 tests producing under 10 player positives and about 30 staffers league-wide. The Titans have had 20 positives. So the Titans, of the 40, they have half of them. So I would like to think that this is, an anomaly, but as the season goes on, obviously, you have to worry about what's going to happen.
Well, early on, the NFL was talking a lot about how well everybody was doing and how they hadn't had any real positive tests. At least the media was wanting to talk about that. And the NFL was kind of just like, we're trying to keep a lid on this right now because we want everyone to stay vigilant. We want everyone to keep doing the right thing because once one person slips up, everybody slips up.
DeAndre Hopkins is officially active. Just got a notification. What's funny is it's not funny because I guess this whole situation is not funny, but the Chiefs and the Patriots both had a positive test, and it was Cam Newton for the Patriots and the guy who acted as Cam Newton for the Chiefs. So the guy who is the practice squad quarterback for the Chiefs this week is the one who tests positive, and that's good character. Just staying. I mean, he should win an Oscar.
That's totally right. When you want to live the role, you can live the role that way. But it's too bad the way things shook out, because you're looking at Cam missing several weeks. You hope that he's got a mild case of it.
Right.
That does mean your boy Stidham's in play.
Yeah, I think that I would be okay letting him ride. You go back to last year's preseason, he looked really great. And I love his ability that I saw at Auburn. That's kind of where I fell in love with him. He made a throw that was an incompletion, so I'll never be able to find it. But he made a throw in college that was just one of the most ridiculous throws I've ever seen. Like, he was on the run outside the pocket, and he probably threw it like 60 yards downfield, and he just like barely flicked it. It was very impressive to me, and he was a guy who probably should have got a better look at Heisman. That team wasn't very good, is the problem, and then they caught fire the next year, so people kind of forget about him. I think he has ability. I just don't know how it translates to this New England offense or the NFL at this point.
What do we call those guys? The guys that have more swag than talent?
That's a majority of our league right now, because you got Drew Lock and we've got Jared Stidham. Just more swag than talent, and we're all right with that. Baker's the king of those guys right
now. Yeah. One just to pull a DJ and talk a little bit Bears on there and Stidham and all that. Supposedly, the Bears have called up Tyler Bray to be the third quarterback this week. And
former Chief Tyler Bray.
Up last night. Oh my God! But the rumor, or the supposed rumor, was that New England had came calling to Chicago about Mitch, that looking to trade for Mitch to be kind of the placeholder while Cam was hurt. And that was why everybody's like, there's no reason to bring up Bray unless they're going to get rid of Mitch, and so it has to be New England. So yeah, I don't know. But that was kind of what everybody was going crazy on Reddit last night. So
I think that people reading a little too much into a very reasonable roster move.
Oscar move.
And thanks, DJ. You put that word in my head. Now, I think it's a reasonable roster move because they're gonna have guys not dress today anyway. It makes sense that Tyler Bray would be one of those guys.
All right, Doug. Let's send us to commercial, and then we'll pick this back up.
Oh, look at you being in charge of the show.
We got bills to pay, bro.
All right,
you gotta produce.
All right, so we'll head to commercial, then we'll talk some waiver claims and some folks to be looking at this week while you're looking to patch this stuff up this week. Track record, you'll see why it's so easy to trust their experts when it comes to all your home improvement projects. Durham Remodeling's work is 100% guaranteed, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best service around. Call 309-786-6715 for all your roofing, siding, flooring, windows, and painting needs. That's Durham Remodeling, 309-786-6715. You know, as much as I'd read that, you'd think I would know that number. I took my eyes off the screen for a second. I was like, what's the last 4 digits? You should know that number by now.
You don't have as much dedication to the commercials as Nate did. Nate not only read that every week, he used them to fix his roof.
That's true. Well, I rent, so I don't have to. But if Carl did electrical work, I wouldn't mind having him come and put in a couple of plugs in my basement. All right. So, like we mentioned before, this is not your standard week by any way, shape, or form. Normally, I'm a guy that lets his roster ride. I am more than content. I don't do a lot of waiver wire dumpster diving, to be quite honest. I am generally content to have my roster swapping guys off the bench. When I'm doing my draft, I think of my bench spots as the guys that I'm going to plug in for bye weeks and injuries and those types of things. So I generally don't do a lot of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, dumpster diving in terms of trying to find guys off the street to plug in my roster. That completely changed for me this week. I've been at it for the last couple of days, kind of picking around, finding folks, picking this person up, dropping that guy. So it's a little bit weird this week. Who are some of the guys that you two are looking at to snag off the wire just to kind of play matchups and Band-Aid holes this week?
Yes. I mean, I was all sorts of just in our staff league. Chris and I talked about this last week before the show, is with our fantasy football acumen, our ability. In most of our leagues, we don't have to be that sharp. In this league, it kind of forces us to be sharp, so we're kind of SOL if we don't hit the waiver wire quickly. But like, my entire bench is full of Chiefs, Patriots, Titans, and Steelers. So, like, obviously, like, Justin Jefferson was a guy with no Allen Lazard. Marquez Valdez-Scantling was a guy that you would look at. Jeff Wilson was another guy. And then you kind of look at those guys like T. Higgins and Andy Isabella, guys who went off last week, that you think maybe could be part of the conversation. With Chris Godwin missing another game, Scotty Miller being that playing that Julian Edelman kind of role for Tampa Bay and for Tom Brady.
Yeah, I think you're on to something with Jeff Wilson. He found the end zone a couple times through their first few games already, so I think that's something where you're seeing him get goal line touches. I think that's a really smart move. I would say Damian Harris is another name. He's going to be coming off IR soon. All he has to do is beat Sony Michel for that position. He makes a lot of sense as a guy who can get a lot of carries and be a good player in that New England system. And that's going to make a lot of sense going forward. Justin Jefferson, I think, is an easy one because he exploded, having a higher yards as a rookie than Randy Moss. It means you're headed in the right direction. So I think that he's one that a lot of people are paying attention to. I think the one that is under the radar is, like you're saying, DJ, Andy Isabella, because coming out of college, people really were excited about his ability, but then he kind of redshirted last year and people forgot about him a little bit. But he has elite speed. I think he's somebody who can kind of fall into that slot wide receiver position and be that number 3 guy in a good offense that's going to be passing the ball a lot. Mm-hmm. And Christian Kirk really hasn't picked up that slack like I imagined he would this year. So that gives Andy Isabella more chances to take over that role and be that 3rd guy on that team.
You mentioned Damian Harris. I picked him up in one of my leagues, a dynasty league, as a stash. And that's kind of where my mind goes a lot of times, is like guys I would like to have on a dynasty league because you're likely to have the bigger bench and stuff like that. Right. Travis Homer is another guy I would keep an eye on because in Seattle, because Carlos Hyde's nicked up and Chris Carson has the knee injury that you could foresee being something that's a little naggy. And so I could see Travis Homer getting some carries later in the year. So that's something that I would do for like a bench stash. Another guy, dynasty-wise, that I might stash was an interesting transaction if you were checking it out. The Eagles signed Hakeem Butler, who was with the Cardinals last year, and in the transaction, they called him tight end Hakeem Butler. So I would be interested to see if, with Dallas Goedert on the IR, if he could actually step into that role as a tight end for the Eagles.
Yeah.
I just liked his butt.
He's tight. Well, and I know he's going to be rostered in a lot of leagues, but Deebo Samuel's getting ready for his big return too. That's somebody who really did pop off the screen when I watched a lot of their games last year, and that's a wide receiving core that is in desperate need of somebody who can come in and just take the lion's share of the targets. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I was kind of questioning they let Emmanuel Sanders walk after the end of the year last year, and they didn't sign anybody really to replace him. So I think they were completely expecting Deebo to take over that role. And if you watched him in the Super Bowl, like, he was exciting in the Super Bowl, and it always seemed like when they needed a play, they kind of went to him, especially with Kittle kind of disappearing in that game against the Chiefs. So with a healthy Deebo, they're going to use him in some of those roles, like the slot receiver. They're going to use him out of the backfield. I would expect for the next couple of weeks for him to be kind of on a pitch count. But when they're able to take the reins off of him, man, watch out. I could see him finishing the year as a top 20 receiver, even with missing 3 weeks, and I would expect him to be on a pitch count for the next couple of weeks.
And I think that's a good idea too, DJ, is maybe we're all fantasy owners, so we all know what it's like. When you have a guy like that, you get frustrated with him because you're depending on him.
Mm-hmm.
And if he can't be that guy you're just going to slot in, or if you do slot him in and he doesn't meet your expectations, you get mad and you get frustrated. So, I mean, if he's not on your team, he's somebody else's team currently, keep an eye on him over the next couple weeks. Maybe try a buy low there.
I think I like to look at those buy low guys, and I think one of those guys, as far as redraft, you're not going to be able to do it in Dynasty, is like a Joe Mixon type guy. He's been real bad, and part of that is their offensive line's not very great. Part of that is Gio Bernard's been playing a lot in those passing games, and when they're down, trying to come back. But they're going to get Mixon in. They're paying Mixon to be a number one running back. So Mixon's another guy I would be interested in keeping an eye on and maybe trying to buy low.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Garrisher joins the group right after we finish talking about the 49ers. Kyle, if you weren't there...
Ain't that always the way?
Yeah, we said good things about Deebo. I tried to slip in George Kittle's not as good as Travis Kelce, and neither of these guys took the bait, so...
Yeah,
I'm still trying to figure out why the audio doesn't work on OBS. I just ignored DJ. He's just sound in the background.
Lips flapping.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Doug's got a bunch of sound effects on his OBS to make fun of me, and he can't even use them because he's a boomer and can't figure out OBS.
Well, we'll do it. We'll just do it manually, DJ. We'll just, every time you bring him up, we'll just be like, wah, 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 wah.
Chiefs,
yeah. We'll get it in.
Yes.
Don't worry.
I think it would be enjoyable for Kyle, for me to run back my Kyler Murray's just a guy take, because I don't think Kyler Murray's just a guy anymore. He's pretty exciting to watch, and he's made the Cardinals actually not make me fall asleep while they're playing football.
I think a lot of that is DeAndre Hopkins being on the team.
So he is just a guy?
One. I don't think he's a guy, but I think he's ready to take that next step. That was my biggest take on him, is that you want to see whether or not he looks like he's ready to take the next step. And I think you have seen that a little bit this year. There's still some questionable decision-making in there, but it's a second-year guy, so I think you can kind of let that roll off your shoulders a little bit. I'm not too worried about him. I don't want to put him in like the top 10 quarterbacks in the league or anything like that.
We talked about Dynasty. Where would you rank him as a Dynasty quarterback?
As a Dynasty quarterback, just because of his youth, he'd be pretty high. Yeah. At the same time, I'm not a fan of Kingsbury. It's just I want somebody better for him.
Yeah.
And I know that they're kind of tied together because the system fits the quarterback and the quarterback fits the system.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not a fan of Kingsbury. I think that they could do better.
I think for me, he's definitely top 5. In no particular order. You know, you have Mahomes, Lamar, Deshaun Watson, and Josh Allen as well in that top 5. But I don't really know where I rank those guys particularly. Most places would say Lamar over Mahomes. Me probably being a homer would take Mahomes over Lamar every day.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think you really got to look at what Josh Allen's done this year. And last year, it was a lot about taking advantage of what he does well. This year, it's more about him ascending as a quarterback. I think he's really proven that he can be very good.
Yeah.
What's that?
I think Doug just... So he either figured out OBS or he scored a touchdown.
Yeah, must have been both.
It was both at the same time. Yeah, evidently. Yeah. If you want to record on a Mac, or if you want to use audio sound on a Mac through OBS, you need a second program that nobody friggin' bothered to tell me about until now.
Hey, I didn't know.
Okay, I'm good. I know. I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at the internet.
Well, and
I yell
DJ,
at you for plenty of stuff.
We're also talking a lot about how good Murray can be. And they lost the Lions last week. So I don't think that should go unsaid.
They did indeed.
The Lions that lost to a Trubisky comeback.
Yeah.
They got Trubisky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All righty. So that'll take us to the end of this segment now that we can get the show back on the rails somewhat. All right. So we will take a quick commercial break. On the other side of that, we're still going to talk Bears-Pack, so we're going to talk a couple of different things. So we're going to talk the other side of both of those matchups. We're going to talk about the Indy side. We're going to talk about the Atlanta side. And then the Bears Chicago is the Thursday night game this week against New England. So I want to take a quick look at that matchup and talk about how all that's going to go down there and who Chris will really be pulling for in that game, his boy Stidham or the Bears in that game. So we'll hit a quick commercial break, and then we'll jump back over and talk about that stuff. And DJ evidently wants to talk even more once we get on the backside of this commercial break. Van's Pizza Pub and Grill. Football season is just underway, and if you spend Sundays watching football anywhere but Van's Pizza Pub and Grill, you've been doing it wrong. Van's Pizza Pub and Grill, 3333 North Harrison Street in Davenport, is the best place to catch all of your favorite games. And with 13 weeks left in the season, 12? 13? We don't know anymore. You still got time to make it your new favorite routine. You still got time is the important part there. Start your meal off with famous McGuire's Original Nachos or Bready Nuggets. Then ask about one of their original QC-style pizzas. Or be your own quarterback and call an audible and create your own. The Vans crew will be sure your play call hits pay dirt every time. Vans Pizza Pub and Grill, 3333 North Harrison Street in Davenport. Come get served.
I tried to do your thing, Doug.
It was your thing.
Well, you have to let me know that you're going to do it.
No, it was Doug's thing. Did you hear?
Yeah, but we decided you couldn't do it because you're too much of a child, and then you prove us kind of right because you just interrupt to shout things.
I'm 100% a child, okay? I'm definitely oh no, I forget. I was going to say I'm the youngest of the entire For Fantasy's Sake crew, but that's not even true. We have 2 college kids, and Linda's younger than me too.
Yes.
God, I'm the mean. I'm the mean.
We'll still call you the kid. That'll make you feel better.
Chris and I still think that you're below average, so it's all good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When we're talking about
all right. What did you want to talk about?
He's a D+. That's what he is.
All right. Durham modeling and repair trivia question. What connection?
That's next segment.
I wanted to talk about trivia. Give people plenty of time to answer.
He put it in the text, Doug. Read the text.
Read the
boomer.
text, Doug.
He said it said throw it to me. I saw throw it to me when we got back. Yeah. I thought you had something important. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, sponsors are important.
What connection?
Yes, they are.
Does the Bears-Colts matchup have to the presidential election? First correct answer in the comments wins an entry to the end of the year autographed whatever you want with that fits in our budget raffle. So what
So
connection?
Tiny Riddell helmet is what it's going to be.
It could be, yeah. It's going to be autographed though. Maybe by me,
By
maybe by a
DJ.
player. Who knows?
By DJ.
So it's a risk you're willing to take. But what connection does the Colts Bears matchup have to the presidential election?
DJ's signed helmet's going to be by Travis Kittle.
I'm more of a fan of that George Kelsey guy.
He's better. Yeah.
Blocks more.
Yeah, totally.
Speaking of text messages, our new man on the crew, Dan McCullough, who is our new DFS writer, he says he sees Chris taking shots at Kingsbury and wants to know why.
I think that he's never actually won anything. That's the real problem I have with him. Is he won one bowl game and he had Mahomes. Well, you should win more with Mahomes. That's my biggest critique of him. I think that he's fallen up through his entire career, and it's just one of those things where he hasn't really succeeded in anything, and he continues to just move up continually because he had this proximity to somebody. I think the year before he got signed, we saw that a lot with guys who had proximity to McVay. McVay was the hot name at the time, so it was kind of like, okay, if you were somebody who walked Sean McVay's dog, then you're going to be somebody who's going to be an NFL head coach. And then it's kind of shifting to, okay, this guy had Mahomes. He knows what he's doing. That doesn't make sense to me. I just want to see him have success at some level to kind of earn it. And I think the other part of it that really pisses me off is that photo of his home from draft night, where his home is like super, super just guy that makes you go, oh, really? Okay, so this is who you are, kind of thing.
You want to say he's a D-bag. It's okay.
I really did, DJ, but I want to keep it clean for us because that's one of the things we said we were going to do, but I know we're going to falter. It's okay.
No, not anymore. This year, all the
I know.
We are unplugged, Chris. We are unplugged.
I know.
For fantasy's sake, after dark. Cliff Kingsbury,
mostly because we're in the basements.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury does have a striking resemblance to friend of the show Mike Morrissey, who happens to be a Cardinals fan.
Well, there you go.
Not my Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, all right. Yes, both men. Very pretty. Okay, let's move on. So on the other side of the Bears for the Bears this week will be Indy. The Bears defense has been up and down, to put it nicely. Old Man Rivers has been a little bit this year. What do you guys kind of expect out of the Indy side? Is there anybody over there that you feel confident starting this week?
I mean, you got to fire up Jonathan Taylor. I would like to see more out of Naheem Hines. But T.Y. Hilton's been kind of disappointing. I think he got in the end zone last week. I think you probably drafted him as wide receiver 2 or a flexi guy, so you're starting him. But you're not starting Rivers outside of 2 QB, and there's even a league I own him as a second quarterback, and I'm not playing him. I'm playing Nick Mullins over him. There is an interesting. I was thinking about this.
Wait, hold. Time out. Do you have Nick Mullins ranked this week?
I can't even look.
Probably he blew up last week, so you kind of have to.
Yeah, but if he has Mullins ranked and not Foles ranked, I'm calling a party foul.
I have Nick Mullins ranked 17th.
All right, you're officially off the show. Okay.
Anyway, hold on. I have another thought about the Colts. The interesting thing that nobody thinks about is Frank Reich and Nick Foles. Yeah, think about it.
It's so interesting that I have to think about it, DJ. Thank you.
Frank Reich was the offensive coordinator in Philly.
I understand. Yes, I understand.
Do you understand?
I do understand, yeah. I also understand that everybody who's on the Bears coaching staff coached Nick Foles at one point or another, so that makes sense that they understand Nick Foles. I think that the real problem for the Bears is going to be that the Colts have the healthiest roster the Bears have faced at this point. which is going to be something that they haven't seen all year. This is also an elite offensive line. That's something that the Bears defense has struggled to get pressure all season long. So to have them come through with a big game would prove to me that they are going to be a special kind of team.
Dan has added that he's stuck with Zach Taylor as a Bengals fan, and he was a child Texas Tech fan, so Kingsbury has always been his guy. So Chris, quit making the new guy mad. Jeez.
I know. I'm okay.
All right. Okay. So early rapid fire. Will Atlanta collapse again this week against Green Bay? Yes or no, DJ?
No, because they're not going to have a lead.
How is Dan Quinn still have a job? Okay. Is a better rapid fire question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Arthur Blank was firing around a bunch of stuff about how they didn't understand probably that whole kickoff rule. And if you're kind of going out and like putting your coach on blast like that, and then you lose to the Bears the very next week, how does he still have a job?
So it was like Thanksgiving last year where they got 2 consecutive onside kicks because the Saints refused to recover one. Like, at that point, wouldn't you make sure your entire special teams knows what the rules are?
Well, I think it was the Packers-Bears game a few years ago that was determining who went to the playoffs, and they had that dead ball that nobody whistled down, and the Packers recovered it and like returned it a long way, and the Bears just let it lie on the ground, kind of thing. And the Bears had the exact same thing happen during a very important game for them as well, when Anthony Miller fumbled that ball, and they thought it was an incompletion, but they called it a fumble, and nobody went to go pick it up just last year. So these things happen all the time. It's one of those things where it's you should know the rules, but everybody just assumes based off of what everybody else is doing that they just missed the whistle or something like that.
I think you get in all sports where guys just don't know the rules at some points.
I think it's part of guys know the rules, but they see everybody else not doing something, and they're like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've always been wrong.
Maybe.
Could be. But how many NFL starting quarterbacks are surprised when they find out that there's a tie?
Yeah, that happened a lot.
Half of them.
Yeah.
Maybe you should tie.
All right.
We got more firing, but Doug?
No.
We're done rapid firing.
That's for the end of the show.
We'll do the rapid fire.
Doug, the guy that accuses everybody else to jump in the shot sheet, jumps the shot sheet.
Yeah, we had like a 15-minute aside during the rapid fire there. So.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted one quickie there.
Okay.
Okay, so that'll take us pretty much to the top of the hour. We're going to we're gonna hit a commercial break, and on the other side of this, we'll talk inactives as those have started to flow in.
We'll be back with
did you want to do the trivia question?
I already asked the trivia question.
Ask it again.
All right.
In case people missed it the first time.
What connection does the Bears-Colts matchup have to the presidential election?
Get the sponsor's name in there.
Sponsored by Durham Remodeling and Repair. Because we got to get paid.
Yes. All right. So let's hit the commercials. And then on the other side of this, we will talk inactives. Rock River Fitness, located at 3416 Blackhawk Road in Rock Island, offers a wide variety of classes, starting as low as $7 per class and just $10 for specialty classes. With classes that include different yoga, Zumba, cardio, fusion, and strength training, Rock River Fitness has a little something for everyone and at a crazy affordable rate. Find them on Facebook, the MindBody app, or visit their website, rockriverfitness.com, and start planning your next fitness class. Rock River Fitness, where fitness is fun. All right, so let's take a quick look at the inactives that are coming through to see who's all out there. All right, so this one's listed off alphabetically. Not good. Buda Baker, my guy, is already out. Probably
he
not
has 0 career interceptions.
Not really a big. Yeah, he'll still knock your ass out too. So.
Yeah, 100% of the
don't worry
NFL
about
would
it.
knock my ass out. And both of your wives.
Yeah,
all of
but
our
he's
wives.
It's true.
Yeah, but he's like the size of my wife. All right. Ravens don't have anybody. Chris Moore's out, but he's not really a guy that you're probably leaning on. Panthers, Trenton Cannon, again, nobody that you really kind of care about there. Bengals, John Ross is out.
Healthy
Travion
scratch?
Williams is out. Doesn't say. All it says is in or out.
Interesting. I dropped him in the league this week.
I think you have to. If
Cleveland
he's going to be a
Browns.
healthy scratch, that means you can't trust him.
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns, Hollywood Higgins is the only offensive player. Well, outside of Evan Brown, but he's fantasy-wise there. Nobody for the Cowboys. Broncos already played. Hunter Bryant is out for the Lions.
I think the
Texans keep.
the big news for Cleveland is that means Kareem Hunt, who was a late addition to the injury report this week with a groin injury, is going to play.
He is active. I did see that earlier. Yes. Kiki Kuti is out for the Houstons. Jags. Steven Hauschka is out. So in those big kicker news for Linda, make sure that you get yourself a different.
So
kicker.
they're down to the
They're
third
also-
string kicker?
Yeah, I think they added. I don't know.
A kicker.
Kickers don't matter to me.
A kicker. They added a kicker.
Yeah, kickers don't matter to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now Linda's boycotting our show. Great. All right. And D.D. Westbrook is also out on there.
Which means we knew
For
this
the Chargers.
ahead of time. DJ Chark will be back after missing last week to that chest injury.
Chest and back. So I think even though he is back, expect there to be very, I would say, pitch count probably, or just a decoy of some kind.
Sounds like a song. My chest, my back.
My chest is back.
Speaking of chest injuries, Tyrod Taylor is still out this week, along with Mike Williams for the Chargers. And Iowa's own Brian Bulaga, but he's always hurt, so that doesn't mean
Aldrich
anything.
Rosas is going to be the
there.
kicker for the Jags.
Huh?
Aldrich Rosas, former
Gesundheit.
Giants kicker.
Oh, he's fine.
Sure. All right, for the Dolphins, Malcolm Perry is out this week. For the Vikings, not that they're going to beat anybody, they're missing Tajay Sharp. The Saints are without Jared Cook. That's a big deal. They are also without Michael Thomas, which is a even bigger deal. But he's been out for the last couple of weeks. There was talk that he was going to play this week, but he evidently did not make the cut.
With
there.
Cook and MT out, I think that solidifies. We knew that they were going to be out, but it solidifies Kamara as this week's RB1. And I would, if you need a tight end, look to Josh Hill.
And going back to the Dolphins real quick, Byron Jones also out. So if you're looking at firing up Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, it's going to be a good week for both of them probably.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm always looking to fire up Tyler Lockett.
Yeah. He's a solid dude. He always gets you points.
So, thanks for the transition, Chris. Seahawks. Carlos Hyde is inactive, but Chris Carson is active.
I would, like I said,
Thoughts?
when we were talking about waiver stuff, Travis Homer could end up having a best ball type game, to where he gets those second RB carries, and who knows what's going on with that knee for Carson, to see if he's gonna, maybe it's a 50-50 split and Homer gets a lot of carries.
Yeah, that injury, it looked like something where there should be a significant suspension because of it. That gator tackle, that's ridiculous, and it should not be in the league.
Yeah, I know that they said this morning on ESPN that there was a fine, but I don't believe there was a suspension.
It should be a suspension of some kind. If not, like several weeks, it should have been for the season. That was stupid. You shouldn't have that in your league.
Agreed.
That takes us to
we have
Tampa
no more
Bay.
points.
No Leonard. Yeah. No Leonard Fournette, which we already knew. No Chris Godwin, which we already knew for those guys. So if you are running a little behind, get those two out of there. So that means Rojo week this week, and big week for Mike Evans, who came on big last week. As much as I love Mike Evans, and DJ, you know how much I love Mike Evans, he doesn't do it week to week.
He had 2 catches for 2 yards and 2 tutties last week.
Hey, that's still plenty of, what is that? 6, 12, 14, 15. That's enough points.
Not enough.
He's had 3 touchdowns of 1 yard this year.
No, you guys can't back Leonard from that and his sorry ass, and then still, and then.
Hey, I never backed Leonard Fournette. I thought it was hilarious.
I can, and I will.
Fall forward for a touchdown.
DJ?
I can. What?
Oh, I thought you were saying something.
No, I just said I can and I will.
Okay, sure. All right. Last one up is Washington. The only really significant injury there is Chase Young. Obviously, that would be on the other side. Look, Lamar Jackson was already going to run wild in that game, but losing Chase Young is a big deal. He looks like he's every bit of the young superstar that everybody thinks that he's going to be. So losing him is a big deal for Washington. I guess there's talk in Washington about doing a quarterback change. Have you guys seen any of Washington this year? What's going to be your thoughts on their quarterback situation?
I'm not a fan of Haskins. I think that you can do better than that. I don't know that the answer is on the roster currently, but I'm not a fan of his ability.
Yeah, and I don't know that. Yeah, I don't think Kyle Allen's the guy. I don't even know if Alex Smith can walk on 2 legs yet. So I don't really.
Well, he's looking good. He's still inactive, though.
Right. Yeah, I don't know really what your plan is if you bench Dwayne Haskins to lose games. I really don't know.
Yeah, I think you might as well just stick with Haskins at this point because, like you said, DJ, Kyle Allen, you got a body of work last year just based off of what he did in a different system. But if you want to see if Haskins is a guy or not, system. No. Well, I guess I guess that's true. But it's probably a little bit different. But it makes sense to just keep seeing what you have in Haskins because you know Kyle Allen is just backup replacement level guy.
The thing is if Haskins is real bad and you finish, 1-15, 2-14, 3-13, whatever, there's more than just Trevor Lawrence in that draft too. There's other guys. Justin Fields, the kid that they love from North Dakota State that everybody's all over. Or maybe you just suck for a couple years and get Spencer Rattler. I mean, there's guys out there, and maybe it's a 1 to 2 year rebuild. But the Redskins the football team have done a really good job about solidifying that defensive line, which is one of the things you need to do to win in the NFL is get pass rush. But they need to start working on that offensive line too.
I think the biggest problem is the Washington.
They're in first place, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. But I think you got to feel a little burned by Ohio State quarterbacks. Dwayne Haskins was the first round Big Ten quarterback since. There's your trivia question for the day, DJ. Who was the last Big Ten quarterback to get drafted in the first round previous to Dwayne Haskins?
Nate Stanley.
That's a big old silence.
Trace McSorley?
No. He's a 56 overall in Madden. So you got to go all the way back to Kerry Collins.
Whew.
Yeah.
Ooh,
that's a long trip.
I remember that.
Joe Burrow is a former Big Ten quarterback.
He wasn't drafted from a Big Ten school, but he did attend a Big Ten school. Yes.
Wasn't Antoine Randall L drafted in the first round? Just kidding.
No. Yeah. But anyway.
That's
Yeah, I
Actually,
don't know
fact.
how sold you should be on Fields just because of that pedigree, though.
Yeah, that is an interesting fact.
Yeah.
That's a better trivia question.
Wow, DJ, you're getting some shade right now from Doug.
Doug, I told you last night I was
Yeah,
using that.
considering I provided him with the trivia question.
You're a pain in my behind.
That is what I'm here for. Ask my children that.
Trey Lance is
My oldest was
the
Matt.
South Dakota State quarterback. He's 6'4", and he weighs like a ton. So, little
Wait,
Josh
South Dakota
Allen.
State or North Dakota State?
North Dakota State. Yeah, little Josh Allen lookalike, essentially.
He went to Wyoming, though.
Yeah, I know, but they're similar body type, skill level.
Carson Wentz went to North Dakota State.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Carson Wentz as a dual threat quarterback, would you?
I wouldn't even put him as a threat quarterback right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I said it.
Ooh, shots fired.
He's a threat to be on the injury report. Don't worry.
I just want every.
Well, they've got.
Even though I hate rookies, I just want every rookie quarterback to start except for Jordan Love.
Okay.
Thanks, Jen Fox.
I want Tua.
Yeah, I think there's no reason not to do that as the season progresses on. I wonder how healthy he is at this point. I think that's the biggest problem holding him back.
Also not good, Daniel Jones.
I want to see more.
You loved him last year.
No, I hated
think
him.
you have to. Did you?
Oh yeah, love Drew Lock. Hate Daniel Jones.
Okay. So I think you just got to
You
see
changed
more.
your nickname on Messenger.
Yeah, because somebody
Sorry,
gave me
Chris.
the nickname
Oh, shut up.
Donnie Dimes.
Wow. Yeah, when DJ
Yourself.
gets a
You gave
nickname
your
that
nickname to
good,
yourself.
All right,
I would say probably.
We're going
yeah,
off track.
I would say probably. I think that I want to see Daniel Jones with real weapons around him. I think the moment they lost Saquon was the moment that your evaluation of him had to come to a halt.
Yeah, agreed.
Unless you're still sold on Darius Slayton, which I am not.
Deion Lewis, baby.
Well, and looking at the injury report as well, people probably already knew this, but the Saints secondary really beat up with Janoris Jenkins and Marshawn Lattimore out. I would think that means a big week for the Lions, who are going to put the ball in the air a lot as is. So look for those guys to have a big day. The wide receiving core coming back to health a little bit, getting their number one guy back last week.
Speaking of guys who could potentially be out, we skimmed over Atlanta just for quick before we go to commercial break. We skimmed over Atlanta a little bit, but their wide receiving core is beat up. Julio's a game time decision. I think Ridley's a game time decision. Gage had a concussion, but I guess he's going to play. Concerns, worries about running them out there at an 8:00 start tomorrow night?
Like I said, I don't know if we were recording or not. Our technology hates us the last couple of weeks. I went ahead and got some safety, some protection out of Atlanta and Green Bay owning Julio and Adams in the same team. So I would go and see if you own Ridley or Adams or Julio, and see if you can get like Zacharias, Brian Hill. I doubt Valdes-Scantling's available. Maybe Russell Shepard. Maybe so some guy who might actually catch a pass from Jay Sternberger is another idea if it's in the flex. Just somebody who plays on one of those teams that might get a little bit of run if those guys are out. One of the actual interesting things is I think inactives come out an hour before kickoff.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the Chiefs game would already have kicked off, but you'll kind of, I think we'll kind of know earlier in the day if we think Ridley or Jones is going to not play. So maybe go pick up a Chief or a Patriot to protect yourself if Adams or Jones sits.
Chiefs. And I think that you can feel safe in playing Russell Gage because they've said that he is going to play. So I think that means that the concussion concerns are behind him. He's not in the protocol or anything like that. I think he would be one that you can feel safe putting in your lineup. Right now, he's taken a lot of targets. He left that Bears game last week very early, and he's still 21st in the league in targets with 25 actually. So he's got 17 catches. That's a guy I would really trust going into this week, knowing that those two guys are going to be injured. Can he be the number one guy? I don't think so, but I would say there is a 50-50 chance that at least one of Julio or Ridley play. So having him as your number two, that's going to be fine for him.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Can you tell the people watching what's the cards behind you are?
Oh, the big one is Walter Payton. And then over here is Jerry Rice. And then right here is Joe Montana in a Chiefs jersey. That's what you were trying to get at.
No. I'm trying to figure out what the other one is.
This one is Marshall Faulk, his draft card.
Okay, because like the blue in it makes it look like it's either Matthew Stafford or Cam Newton. So I was really trying to figure out what it could be. Okay, that's a pretty neat card.
Yeah, I like it.
Nice.
That is all the plaques I own in one place in my house. So.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. I'll just start changing it out for different football cards I have. So now you got me started, DJ.
I have see much Star Wars stuff.
Oh yeah, I actually do. Are they mint, Doug? Are they in the package still?
No. They I bought them both from Ross's for like $12 each.
Nice.
Free advertising for Ross Dress for Less.
All right. Yeah, we're plugging everybody today. All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, even though I've read all the commercials. We're going to hit somebody else. Somebody's going to get a twofer this week. Yep, IV Gas Coffee can also sponsor us if anybody's watching that. And then we'll go ahead and do the question. We'll take your questions. If you got any other questions, last call to get those in. I forgot to plug those while I was fighting my computer this week. And then from there, we will take your questions and we'll hit the rapid fires, and we will call this a week. All right. So, Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill. Sunday is the best day at Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill in Rock Island. You can now enjoy a limited brunch menu while listening to your favorite jamokes talk about fantasy football. And let me tell you, there's nothing better than Kavanaugh's Brunch Burger, which is a sizzling all-beef patty served with an egg and hash browns. It's served with a side of hand-cut fries, which has to be better than the donut that I had this morning. Stick around after the show and grab one of their 250 tall boys or a Bloody Mary while checking out all of the action from every game around the league and keeping up with your fantasy studs on one of their numerous screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. That's Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill, 1228 30th Street in Rock Island, the non-bubble home of For Fantasy's Sake.
I will have to say the one of the things that stinks about being in the bubble is no ability to get a Kavanaugh's after the game before I go home.
I know, right?
Yeah. And cut fries sound really good.
Oh, they're so good.
Mm-hmm. I've been there. It's very good.
So good.
All right, so questions. First one up is from Cousin Bo. Need one more pass catcher for PPR. Dontrell Inman or Adam Troutman?
Ouch. I take the risk with Inman, I think.
I like Dontrell Inman. I think no matter where he is, he finds a way to produce just as long as the ball's getting to him. So I would trust that dude.
Sweep it. All right. Next question. I'm assuming this is also from Cousin Bo. Chances Adams plays could start OBJ, Fuller, or Renfro.
I would take my chance with Adams playing. I would see if there's any kind of insurance on the waiver wire, but I think I would take the chance with Adams playing.
I think that's one that makes a ton of sense. The fact that he's doubtful and not doubtful, but he's questionable instead of doubtful means that he's going to play. unless something happens game day. I would really trust that. Hunter Renfroe keeps making DJ and I look bad because we keep talking about how unathletic and untalented he is, and he keeps doing fine every week. And because he does fine, we both are like, are we wrong about that? But he's fine at best. So, yeah, I would be willing to take the risk on the higher ceiling with Adams.
I would rather start.
All right, let's say Adams.
I would rather start Tampa Bay Ray bench bat Hunter Renfroe over Oakland Raiders wide receiver.
Wow. So you're banking on a home run, DJ. That's essentially all his point totals get him. Is he hits a home run or he goes 0 for 100. Doug had a question.
Okay, of the other two, of OBJ or Fuller, which one would you start out of those two?
OBJ.
I kind of like Fuller because I think that Cooks is being used more as a decoy so far. I think Fuller's really proven that if he's healthy, he's a talented player that can get you a lot of points.
As much as I think it's crazy, I think I would go Fuller in that situation too.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Mr. Jordan Rangel wants to know, for a flex spot, AJ Green, Traquan Smith, James White, or Justin Jefferson?
Never Justin Jefferson. Oh, Justin Jefferson. I was confusing it with Justin Jackson. Sorry. I would try out AJ Green.
DJ said the name like 3 consecutive times, and he still thought it was a different player. I think that's funny. I like. Say him again, Doug. I got
AJ Green.
I got busy dunking on DJ. AJ Green is who I would go with.
Okay. And I would take Traquan, probably. Just because since Michael Thomas is out, I might roll the dice on Traquan Smith just to see kind of what he can do there.
Is Thomas out?
Yeah.
I thought he was
Michael
still
Thomas,
carrying
yeah.
a questionable.
Nope, he's out.
Nope,
All
he
right.
is officially...
All right, gotcha.
All right, next question. TJ Chark, Marvin Jones, or Devontae Parker?
DJ Chark. No, Devontae Parker.
Yeah, I would probably go with Parker too because, like I said earlier, Chark having 2 different injuries, that worries me, and I think that he's gonna go, but I don't know how much they're gonna go to him.
See, I'm still leaning on Chark there. That's my gut.
He's the
All
most
right, Evan
talented,
Ingram
but
or Mike-
at the same time, do you want him touching the ball that much, especially this early in the year?
Yes.
Okay.
Evan Ingram or Mike Gesicki?
Gesicki. I have him number 6 at tight end, and I have Evan Ingram number 11.
I think he's a really sneaky play. I would probably go Gesicki too because he's just one of these guys that gets a lot of red zone looks. He probably went super late in a lot of people's drafts, but I think he's somebody who's really shown up, especially in the red zone.
Yeah. Someone, I can't remember whether it was Dan or Michael that wrote about Gesicki for their DFS plays, but Gesicki seems to be the good matchup this week. All right. Pick 2 running backs and a flex. So Jordan wants to set his lineup for him this week. Mixon, Gurley, James Robinson, Devontae Parker, or Debo.
So, Robinson, Devontae, and Mixon.
Robinson, yeah. Devontae Freeman, what team did he end up on?
No, Devontae Parker.
Oh, I'm sorry, Devontae Parker. Okay. Yeah, I would just go with. I like Robinson the most.
Robinson,
out of those
100%.
guys.
You're playing him.
Yeah. I really don't have any other opinions on the other guys. I can't remember the names. These are too many names, Doug.
Mixon, Gurley.
I don't want either one of them. You're right.
Okay. We have to start 2 running backs. So.
All right, I'll go
All
with Gurley
Okay.
then, just because I think he did look good like late in game against the Bears when it looked like the game was over, and then they decided to pass for no reason.
All right. Okay, and then the last one down here for a flex option. Marvin Jones or Julian Edelman, and it says Commish is not allowing reserves, though we know Edelman will play tomorrow night.
I think Edelman plays that safety jacket for Brian Hoyer, so I think I would start Edelman.
I would probably go with Marvin Jones, like we were talking about. Marshawn Lattimore is out, and so is the other corner. So I think it could be a big day for him.
I feel like Edelman's going to be the guy that gets leaned on in that game, so I'm going to go Edelman there, though I don't like to agree with DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And then Yard Barbers, one of our fabulous sponsors, wants to know MVS or CD Lamb. MVS or CD?
I like CeeDee Lamb. I think that he's got elite talent. Just watching him the last couple of weeks, he's explosive. There's no reason not to go with him. I know that they have a lot of mouths to feed on that team, but he's special. I would think he's going to see the ball a lot more. I think that Adams is going to be a go, so that's going to hold down MVS's talent overall, or ability to get a lot of targets.
Yeah. I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doug's dog agrees too. That's why it came downstairs.
Yes. What are you doing? All right. Okay. Rapid fires. When I find the right Google Doc, we can start those.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. I haven't read these before, so I'm laughing at the first.
Oh,
Right.
Look at that.
So, finally, somebody.
The brains of the operation.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We believe in Harper's picks. All right. Peeps, you want in this too?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, better week 4, DJ Moore, DJ Chark, or DJ Jarvis?
I've already won this week as Harper's here to see me.
Yay.
Yay.
DJ Moore, DJ Chark, or DJ Jarvis? Is that the options?
Yes.
A
those
couple
are
of
the
those
three.
are taking an L. I'll go with DJ Moore.
Yeah, same. All right. Top scoring quarterback this week. Lamar?
Oh, overall? Yeah, Lamar.
I'll go Mahomes.
We'll go with Josh Allen, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Why not?
Okay. Anthony Miller, over under 24.5 receiving yards.
Under.
Over.
Over?
I think with a competent quarterback in there, it's going to be whoever's open, and I think that he does get open. Mitch just throws it 15 yards over his head every time he beats somebody. So I would say that if he has one big pass, that's going to beat that over.
Yep. Top scoring wide receiver in Dallas, Cleveland.
We'll just stick with CeeDee Lamb.
I'm going to go OBJ.
Yeah. Back from the dead.
I'll take. Yeah. See, I was going to take Landry, so that'll work. All right, where was that? Bills over under 31 points.
What did they score last week?
31.
Okay. I'll go under. That's a lot of points.
I'll say over.
Who are they playing this week? The Raiders. Yeah, I'll go under. That's a lot of points. All right, Mike Davis over under 54.5 rushing yards.
Under. I heard Mike Davis.
Under.
I didn't need to hear more.
What was the
54.
Number? I apologize.
54.5.
Over.
You wrote these.
Yeah, like hours ago when you guys were still sleeping.
Will the Falcons blow a fourth quarter lead against Green Bay? We've already discussed this. You guys.
They're not going to have a
lead.
lead. Yeah, I'm with DJ on that. They're never going to lead this game. That team's not good.
All right. Top scoring running back this week.
I will go with Kamara.
I think that makes sense. I'll go with Zeke.
Gimme.
Just Zeke and you will find.
Zeke and destroy.
Ooh, that's not.
Wow. DJ Zeking attention.
I'm always Zeking attention.
Give me Josh Jacobs.
We're gonna continue to fill with this nonsense if you don't make a pick, Doug. Thank you.
Josh Jacobs. All right.
If I played that game that Harry Potter plays, I'd be the Zeker.
Wow.
All right. Justin Jefferson over under 48.5 yards. I'm gonna take the under.
Over.
Who was it? Josh Jacobs?
Justin Jefferson. The guy.
Justin
The
okay.
guy kept confusing.
It was a J name. I was close. No. I will take under.
So many JJs.
Under.
All right.
Chris's
Wheel of
Zeke
Seattle's
brain
wide receivers. I
power.
think we need at least more than two for
You
a wheel.
evaporated all my brain power, DJ.
Lockett or DK Metcalf?
Lockett.
DK.
Lockett it is. Marquise Brown over under 42.5 receiving yards.
He looked really bad on Monday night. So over.
What?
He looked really bad, so over.
He
Okay.
looked really bad.
that makes
Over.
I think they're going to be much better. I think they're gonna totally blitz them.
I agree with that. I think over.
Yeah, I do too. I just thought that.
I know. I couldn't get over it. He's bad. Over.
I'm Zeking attention, okay?
It's unzeekable.
Joe Mixon or James Robinson?
Robinson.
Robbins. Yeah.
Robinson all day.
Yeah.
Top scoring wide receiver.
Ooh.
If he's going to play, so Nuck.
Well, yeah, I was gonna go with that, and I was wondering why you were kind of being like if he plays. Yeah, I would go with that. Maybe Keenan Allen.
Here, you want to see me blow somebody's mind?
Mm.
Tyreek Hill.
Boo.
That's
Chiefs,
2 weeks
Chiefs,
in a row you've picked the Chiefs to do something.
Chiefs.
Lamar Jackson over under 65.5 rushing yards.
Under.
Over.
I think they're trying to protect him, so they're going to try and limit what he does. I think he'll have a couple big ones, but I don't know that it ends up being 65. That's a lot.
I think the Ravens I think the Ravens are zeking to destroy them this week.
We zeked something very bad here.
I'm zeking brain fluid.
Yeah, you are. I say it's under, but he'll score. So take that from what you want. Okay, Chris. DJ put this one just in for you.
Hey,
candy corn or pumpkin spice?
Oh, can I take neither?
That was my response.
I guess pumpkin spice, because candy corn is the devil's music right there.
I would take pumpkin spice because it's delicious, and I had pumpkin spice coffee this morning.
I think pumpkin spice is fine. I'm not a fan of either one of those things. But candy corn is on my list of nevers, like along with Peeps and those other like seasonal things that people tell you are good and they are terrible.
Oh, my wife loves both of those things.
Oh, pass on both.
Yeah, I'm not a huge marshmallow fan.
Yeah.
So
The last time I got Peeps was when I was in high school, and I took them all out in the road and watched cars run them over as I put them in the street.
I'm sure your mother enjoyed cleaning those up.
Hey, I cleaned them up, but I wasn't going to eat them, so might as well get some entertainment value out of them.
Yeah, those things be nasty. All right. That is it. That is the show for this week. Hopefully next week we'll have figured out how to make audio roll on a Mac, because, I mean, we're only a quarter of the way through the season. Should be able to figure that out by now. All right, so that'll do it. Thank you for everybody who tunes in to watch this train wreck every week. For DJ, for Chris, I am Doug. We will see y'all next week.